For a look at where things stand right now with the forecast. Justin?
Yeah, well, we're just getting started in what is going to likely be a multiple hours of winter weather. And in fact, you can see a lot of the changeover here on the exact track radar. There's still rain in some spots. We're getting some reports, especially as you get out 290 towards Waller County, of some light freezing rain that's been causing some crashes. They've shut down a couple of overpasses out there in Waller County, as well as roads have become impassable, and some of the cars are starting to slide back down, nearly hitting a couple of deputy cruisers that were out there as well. Now, as you go further west towards Austin, San Antonio, you notice that it's all snow. Temperatures out there in the 20s, and so that is what is going to head in our direction, but it is likely going to take about the next 6 to 7 hours for that to happen. So let's jump a little tighter on some spots. Getting some reports of a little bit of light sleet there from Magnolia up towards Montgomery. A lot of this isn't necessarily hitting the ground just yet, and as it is, the temperatures are still at or around freezing, so it's not so much of a super glaze on the roads, but still, as we said, this is not the time to go out. Hopefully you've had all your preparations taken care of. You're settling in for the night, because that's exactly where you'll need to be, especially if you're up towards the Woodlands. Go a little further south, temperatures slightly warmer back into the mid-30s. It's not much, but it's at least something. Notice from anywhere from Rosenberg down to Needville as you go over towards West Columbia up to Siena, and then sliding up to 88. Still rain for now, but that is all going to change over as we get into the overnight hours. Let's take a wider snapshot, big picture. The low itself is just starting to push east of El Paso, so all of this out towards San Angelo and out to the west and then towards Dallas, this is all heading in our direction, and that's why we say this is going to be a multi-hour event, something we're going to have to watch very carefully as we go through. Now, I want to put the radar on with the temperatures because it gives you a real good indication of just what we talk about when we talk about the changeover. And a lot of questions people have, too, is they say, well, what's the difference between like sleet and freezing rain? Freezing rain is rain until it hits, let's say, El Campo at 31 degrees. That's below freezing. So that rain hits the frozen ground, glazes over, and that's where the real ice potential can start, and that's where the real troubles on the roads can start as well. Meanwhile, sleet is basically an ice pellet that is frozen all the way down. Isn't necessarily snow, but there's been some melting in the atmosphere, and then as it hits as a little ice pellet. That's why you're seeing that up towards, let's say, Tomball, Conroe, over towards Bush Airport as well. And then as you get from Hobby down to Pearland and Angleton, even at the coast in Galveston right now where it's 38 degrees, all of this is still falling as a very, very cold rain. Contrast that to as we go back off to the west here towards Brenham, Columbus, Hallettsville, LaGrange, Gonzales, and now Austin sitting in the mid to upper 20s. So all of that is snow as the entire vertical column, if you think of it from sort of top to bottom of the air, is completely frozen. And that's what we'll eventually see as these temperatures that are out here in the 30s now start to move into the 20s as we go into the overnight hours. The other side of this winter storm is going to be the dangerous wind chills that will start to affect not only tonight, but certainly tomorrow afternoon once the mess is out of here. And of course, Tuesday morning, we were talking about, could see some of the coldest temperatures and would not shock to see some all-time record lows for the entire area as well by early Tuesday morning. This is right now what it feels like if you step outside. Feels like it's about 21 in Huntsville. Feels like it's only 11 degrees up towards College Station. Feels like 30 out in Katy, 24 in Sugar Land. And obviously, the higher the wind speed, the stronger the wind chill effect will be with that. And we've got a wind chill warning in effect as well. I'll talk more about that coming up here in just a bit. Here's what it looks like as we take your power planner through the rest of this afternoon and into this evening. These temperatures that are sitting just above freezing now are going to go below freezing. So we'll mix in a little bit of freezing rain, then sort of a wintry mix before it all changes over to snow by, let's say, about 4 or 5 a.m. And as we get that moving through, that's when we're going to get some of those heavy snow bursts where we could pick up upwards of maybe 1 to 2, 3 inches of snow. I think for some of the northern counties, that'll be closer to about 4 or 5. We're going to get into all those details coming up here in a couple of minutes as well. That's not necessarily an issue. But right now, just buckle in, because here's the timeline that we're looking at tonight. Freezing rain and sleet that will turn quickly over to snow as we head into the overnight hours. And that's when you start to get that snow and you put it on top of some of the glazed roads already. They will remain frozen, and there I wouldn't be shocked to see some areas as well where the TxDOT crews are not able to get on those roads because it is just not safe for their trucks, let alone for your car, my car, or anyone else's to be out there as well. And then Tuesday morning, that's when we expect those dangerously cold temperatures. Likely we'll be seeing a lot of areas that will start off Tuesday morning in single digits, feeling close to 0 or even below 0 wind chills. That's the killing frost that we were talking about as well, or freeze, I should say. And in fact, that's that wind chill warning, the first first time we've ever had this in Southeast Texas. We've had a wind chill warning that kicks in at midnight tonight, goes until 12 o'clock on Tuesday. And we could be talking about wind chills that feel like about -6 on the north side. This is tomorrow morning, mind you, and about 10 around the coast. And then Tuesday morning, once all that's out of there and that cold Arctic air continues to remain in place, that's when we'll be looking at a bitterly cold morning as well, guys. We'll get into all those details along with the rest of the 10-day coming up.
All right, Justin, thank you very much.